quite interested in Pete saying Liverpool. I mean, do you think Pete Phillips has got the mobility to play in Liverpool midfield? Because Liverpool do struggle a bit with the counter-attacks, and I think that's the issue that Guardiola has with Phillips, isn't it? Is kind of his ability to stop those quick turnovers. I mean, could you see him fitting in at Liverpool?
Yeah, I think obviously Liverpool would have reservations maybe about his mobility, but I think going right now, you look at Liverpool, Alexis McAllister isn't the answer for that number 6 role. No. He needs to be playing further forward like he was at Brighton. That's where he was most effective. He's shown that for Brighton and also for Argentina as well. So I think Calvin Phillips as a designated defensive midfielder would be an improvement in that Liverpool midfield right now as well. If you get back to what he showed at Leeds when he was a mobile midfielder under Marcelo Bielsa, and there's no other manager who wants mobile players than Marcelo Bielsa, considering the transitions and the counter pressing that they did as well. So if you can get a fit and firing Calvin Phillips, I think he could be a good signing for a lot of clubs. Liverpool do like him, but I just don't see Manchester City, although Pep Guardiola has said he's not afraid to let players join rivals, whether they would let Calvin Phillips go to Liverpool. And I'm sure Liverpool, as we all know, are scouring the market for other alternatives for that defensive midfielder role as well. Looking at Andre from Fluminense, who is a younger player as well with huge potential, maybe ticks the criteria boxes more for Liverpool than Calvin Phillips as well. But I'm sure whoever does get Calvin Phillips in January will get a hungry and determined player, maybe to prove a point, because he's really become a forgotten man at Manchester City.
Do you think Andre gets done in January, Pete?
A lot of reports earlier in the last couple of months were suggesting that Liverpool were leading the race for him, but those have gone a bit quiet right now as well. Obviously, Fluminense are willing to sell Andre in this January transfer window for around £30 million, which isn't a massive amount right now as well. He's a Brazil international, quality player, helped them win the Copa Libertadores as well. Does seem to be a lot of interest in him from elsewhere as well. So there's talk of Arsenal interested, Fulham also long-term admirers as well, and there's also been suggestions that Tottenham could be in the market for Andre as well. And they also are looking at the Calvin Phillips situation as well. They are looking at that CDM for January as well, but a lot will depend if Pierre-Emile Højbjerg possibly leaves as well. I don't think Spurs will leave themselves short as a bit like Newcastle, struggling with injuries and selection problems right now as well. So Ange Postecoglou, I'm sure, will be seeing what is out there in the market right now as well. And Calvin Phillips is somebody who's on their list, as he's on the list of a number of other clubs along with Andre. So yeah, it could be a huge midfield merry-go-round, I think, in the Premier League this coming January transfer window.
It's a Merseyside. It sounds like actually another club might be interested in signing Lloyd Kelly.
Yeah, again, Lloyd Kelly is going to be a man in demand due to his contract situation in the summer, I think. But I think for the one that we're talking about is Liverpool are also interested in Lloyd Kelly. They are ready to rival the likes of Tottenham and AC Milan for the centre-back as well. We know Liverpool were interested in signing a left-sided centre-back in the summer transfer window, but they weren't able to get a deal done. A lot of their focus was on reshaping that midfield, so they maybe put a new defender on the back burner. But Lloyd Kelly is somebody that Liverpool admire. They have been keeping tabs on him for quite a while now. And the thing for Lloyd Kelly is he can play left-side centre-back, but he could also play left-back as well. And that's an area of the squad that maybe Liverpool are slightly weak at now due to Andy Robertson's injury. You can see Tsimikas, there's a few doubts whether he can fit that role for Liverpool as well. But yeah, I think Lloyd Kelly, I think he's a good young English player. I think if he moves to a bigger club than Bournemouth, we'll probably see Lloyd Kelly improve as well. And he'll be a player who's probably thinking, if I move to a top 6 club, I could maybe be pushing for a place in Gareth Southgate's squad long term as well. So I think Liverpool and Tottenham both in that market for that centre half, and I think Lloyd Kelly, due to his contract situation, is somebody who's going to be of high interest to both clubs. They're hoping they could maybe prize him away for a cut price fee.
And you look at Liverpool as well; they've got a 33-year-old Van Dijk, who's been actually excellent in the last couple of months, but his form had tailed off before that period, and he will need replacing down the line, won't he? And left-sided centre backs. Guardiola obviously joined Man City, so Liverpool interested in him as well. I'm not saying Lloyd Kelly is going to be the next Van Dijk, but he's a similar age to when Van Dijk joined Liverpool, isn't he? 26, I believe. He's a leader and can play 2 roles. And I think what the sort of elite managers are looking for now is that versatility, isn't it, across the back? Someone who can play centre back, can also move across and play full back, especially you see the way Liverpool's team's evolving and the way that they're playing with Alexander-Arnold in a hybrid role. Lloyd Kelly would kind of fit one or two positions in that Liverpool back line, as well as providing an alternative to Van Dijk as well, who hasn't played any of the midweek games this season either. So, he's very much been saved for the Premier League matches. And I think Liverpool fans are very, very nervous about Tsimikas facing Foden or Doku, aren't they, in the Man City match after the international break.
So, Wayne, do you potentially see then going forward, say in 3 years' time, would you say that the centre-back partnership for Liverpool might look like a Konate and Lloyd Kelly partnership? Is that how you see that progressing potentially?
Well, I'm not 100% convinced on Konate. I think he's definitely Liverpool level, and I think he is a top quality player, but his injury record's really poor. His availability record's really poor. Constantly pulling out of matches with injuries shortly beforehand. I think Sunday's match was. That wasn't even mentioned, was it, in the pre-match press conference? That happens a lot with Konate. You compare to someone like Salah, who's playing an even more demanding role higher up the pitch. How many games has Salah missed in 7 years? Konate, at his age, I don't think should be missing anywhere near the games he's missing. That was an issue when he was at Leipzig as well. So I wouldn't be convinced he'd be Liverpool's a regular at Liverpool in 3 years, to be honest. I think that's completely up for grabs. And even Matip and Gomez had been picked ahead of him at various times this season as well when he was available. So I think he's still got to do more to convince Klopp that he's an absolute nailed-on starter. And I think that whole Liverpool backline with the Arnold role changing, I think it's up in the air. Van Dijk can't possibly be ruling the roost in 3 years' time, can he? I think it's very, very unrealistic. You don't see many 36-year-olds playing every match for an elite club in the Premier League. So Liverpool do need to start evolving that part of the team. They've evolved their midfield and done a pretty good job without actually managing to sign a number 6. So they've got about 27 number 8s, but no number 6s in that squad. But I'd definitely expect defender to come in, probably 2 in 2024 and 2 for the first team, with Matip probably likely to go as well.
27 number 8s. That is an accurate description, I would say. If we move from You've just watched a segment from Football Insider's brand new podcast, The Inside Track, with me, Lewis Pearce, alongside the guests on the show. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please do give the video a like, comment your thoughts on the topic, and feel free to share on your social media pages. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, click the link in the description below. Keep your eyes peeled for plenty more content and exclusives here on The Inside Track.